Hey, George with Pitbull here today to talk to you about our new hybrid front stands. The Pitbull hybrid fronts were released in early 2012. They feature several configurations, some of which are the head lift, which lifts from the steering stem, the hybrid forklift, which will lift from underneath the forks, and the hybrid dual lift, which includes both the head lift and fork attachments. Now, one thing we always tell people, and this is included on the instructions as well, is that you always want to lift the rear of the motorcycle first before lifting the front. The only exception to this rule would be if your bike happens to have a center stand and you can use the center stand for stability, then lift the bike from the front. You want to be careful though when you're lifting the bike from the front that the center stand does not come off the ground. Of course, when you're done working on your motorcycle, always remove the front stand first before removing the rear stand or letting the bike off the center stand. Now, the hybrid head lift is one of our most popular stands. The hybrid head lift allows you to lift from the hole in the lower triple tree. That will allow you to remove the wheel, remove the forks even. You could even use it for long-term storage over the winter. But the way you would use this stand is to put it in front of the motorcycle, bring the nose piece in underneath the hole in the lower triple, make sure you get the pin all the way in the hole. If it has a shoulder, push it all the way in up to the shoulder. If it does not have a shoulder, push it in as far as it'll go. Making sure you have no fairing or fender pressure. You would push down on the handle, bring the bike up in the air. Of course, bringing it down is just as simple. Bring it down, let the pin out of the hole, bring it out. This stand also works as a hybrid forklift. Lifting from underneath forks, very easy. You would remove the upper piece, bring the forklift stand in, center it on the forks, bring the lower peg forward of the imaginary center line that will be going through your forks. Do that on both sides. Push down on the handle, bring the bike up in the air. Of course, letting it down is just as easy. Now, the hybrid head lift could actually be used with the hybrid forklift separately, like so. Get the upper piece in first, and then bring the lower in underneath it and push that up like that. Some people prefer to lift it this way. Some people like it better when it's bolted all together. It really just comes down to personal preference. So we've already shown you how to use a forklift on a traditional fork. However, you'll see on this motorcycle it's a non-traditional fork. You have your radial mount brakes and the bottom of the fork is just not squared off like you would see on your most traditional forks. So on a bike like this, you would actually bring the forklift underneath the caliper brackets behind the fork. Make sure you have it lined up properly on both sides. And then lift the bike from the flat section underneath the caliper brackets behind the fork. That would work on your Ducati Superbikes, MV Agustas, even your BMW S1000R. A lot of bikes have these radial mount brakes these days, so that would be how you would lift these motorcycles. Some new features on our patent-pending hybrid front stands include these threaded holes, which allow you to insert a 6mm bolt, which you could then use to hang your calipers from. Very handy feature. In addition to that, we also have indexable height adjustability. The indexable height adjustability allows you for 7 levels of height adjustment, and of course the fork swivels on the new hybrid front stands remove easily. So if you did want to lift the bike from the steering stem and not have these swivels in the way, you could remove them very easily. However, you can lift from the stem with the swivels in place on most motorcycles. Now, like many of our stands, the hybrid front stands feature a fixed welded-on handle. However, there is an optional removable handle, which is a $10 upcharge. Allows the handle to come off and be stored on the lower chassis. This, of course, is very handy because it allows you to push the bike into the corner if you were storing it long term, closer to the corner, out of your way. Of course, it's also less of a trip hazard because you can remove the handle when you're not needing to lift the bike. That makes you less likely to trip over it when you're walking by or getting around the bike. Also, one feature which is nice, now that the handle is removable, we're able to offer extended length handles. The extended length handles are another option that gives you additional leverage, and of course, because that handle is removable, you don't lose any storage space in your garage because you can still store it on the lower. It's out of the way. If you have any questions about this front stand or any of our other stands, of course, you can give us a call or drop us an email. Our email is info@pit-bull.com, and of course, our telephone is 877-533-1977. That's toll free in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., you can call us 256-533-1977. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.